You're watching New Vision TV News with me, Ruth Inasije. We start off with our top stories as the Kampala Twins Festival nears. In the news around Uganda, we look at how mothers from different districts with twins are coping with life. News from Mbara, Muntu urges opposition parties to build grassroots structures. And in our news around East Africa, Rwanda president among African leaders invited to France for the G7 summit. In the news around the world, 17 die in road crash in central Nigeria. And in our special report tonight, we look at a student who is hunting for wealth from trash. I am Ruth Inasije. You're watching New Vision TV News. We start off with the Saturday Vision. Now, what to expect in the Saturday Vision? Police raids a farm over jobs scam. Police sets conditions to private security firms. And also expect why you should have a tenancy agreement. Kenya twins to grace this year's Twins Festival. Uganda also has a take on their Nita saga. We have more stories in the Saturday Vision, and those who cannot access the Saturday Vision, the link is on your screen. All you have to do is to subscribe to our e-paper and access all the products published by Vision Group. We start off with the news around Uganda. From Kayunga district, if raising one child is a hurdle in most developing countries where the cost of living is high, how about triplets when a man abandons his responsibility? This is the story of 19-year-old Jane Aduba, who was stranded after her lover Lauren Otiene, a Kenyan, switched off his phone on learning that she had given birth to her now 4-month-old babies.
Nali nyeze kula nampola yampo olubuto nange samanya waabwe ati bosi wange gwali nkolera yalaba nga embeera yange ekyuse nangoba nagamba nkomewa nekaira nenkomawo nembeera wano ewaka n'olubuto lwange paka nenzaala.
Toddanga bamuwuliza okuva kulungi
okuva ennaku simuwulizangako sinaye gyali kuba sirina namba ya simu.
She is currently living with her maternal aunt, Rose Akech, who is hosting over 21 people in her incomplete one-bedroom house. However, through the efforts of the staff of Parliament, Aduba can see light at the end of the dark tunnel. Last week, the team from Parliament delivered an assortment of items collected from their colleagues to Aduba at her home in Setanyiza village in Kangulumira sub-county, Kayunga district. The donations included mattresses, beddings, baby clothes, boxes of milk, soap, sugar, Pampers, linen and detergent. While handing over their additional cash donation of 500,000 shillings, the team expressed concern about the appalling state of children we're living in and called on other Good Samaritans to reach out to the young family. Let's move into Kiso district. Now, the joy of giving birth to twins is overwhelming, but to a mother who is also a twin, the joy is unmeasurable. This is what Sanyu Nakato, now Nalongo to 2 boys, is experiencing. A resident of Kayunga in Wakiso district was filled with joy when the doctor told her she will be giving birth to twins when her pregnancy was 5 months. She left this a surprise to her husband, but after delivery, the man who was not ready to father 2 babies left her. Nalongo Sanyi is now raising Kato and Waswa with her twin sister Babidie. The boys are now in primary school. However, from Twin Stories, we continue looking at more stories making news around Uganda. From Ntungamu district, the king of Toro, Omukama Oyo Nyimba Kabamba Iguru Kidi IV, is in Kigezi region on the feast aimed at strengthening the ties between Toro and Kigezi. He was on Thursday afternoon welcomed by thousands of people at Satellite Hotel in Rahi. The Toro Kingdom head then proceeded to the home of the legendary Munyakigezi elder, the late Paul Inkorongoza. Inkorongoza, a former administrator in colonial Kigezi, is remembered for establishing good relations with the former Toro king, George Rukidi, who in 1954 granted the people of Kigezi free land to settle on. OSVist is organized by the International Community of Banyakigezi Uganda chapter, an association of people from the Greater Kigezi region in the diaspora, and Nyakigezi Rwenzori Association. Moving on to Mbara district, opposition political parties in Uganda are being challenged to concentrate more on strengthening grassroots structures before vying for the top leadership in the country. General Mugisha Muntu, the chairman of the recently formed political party Alliance for National Transformation, says firm grassroots structures are what makes political parties and leaders strong. He said these were delivering a keynote address to the anti-leaders from Ankole region in Mbara Catholic Social Center. General Muntu noted that many political parties in Uganda have put their attention on winning the presidential elections and failed to concentrate on grassroots strengthening, something he says is very key. Earlier, General Muntu opened the Alliance for National Transformation Ankole sub-region offices in Lugazika Koba Division, Mbara Municipality. The office will coordinate the 12 districts in Greater Ankole region. Closing off the news around Uganda is a story from Kampala, Uganda's capital city. Youth have called on the government to strengthen inspection and regulation of schools to ensure quality education for all Ugandans. Uganda has the youngest population in the world, with 75% of the population being youth below the age of 35 years. UN chairperson Ronald Otim said transformed education is paramount in attaining sustainable development goal number 4. This goal says countries must ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. UNET Program Officer Munira Nalunga said there is need for the completion of the current curriculum. She said this one does not support graduates to start their own jobs, but rather lead to job hunting. The dialogue was organized under the theme Transforming Education for Responsible Citizenship and Job Creation. We move on to news around the East African region. We started from Southeast Sudan, where Ezekiel Law got caught. The oil minister said yesterday that the country has made its first oil discovery since declaring its independence 8 years ago. The Reuters reports that the latest oil find at 5.3 million barrels of recovered oil is small but noteworthy for the country that has seen its oil production fall from as much as 0.35 million barrels per day to the current level of 0.18 million barrels per day since the war with neighboring Sudan, which damaged critical infrastructure. Crossing over to Rwanda, President Paul Kagame is scheduled to take part in the G7 summit in France over the weekend. G7 is also known as the Group of Seven, which is made up of 7 countries which are among the largest industrialized economies of the world. President Kagame's participation was confirmed by Olivia Indihungerehe, the state minister in charge of East African Community at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. As is the custom, the host country invites a select few non-G7 world leaders of what is referred to as the outreach session, where more common issues of concern are discussed. Rwanda was invited along Egypt, South Africa, Senegal, Burkina Faso, and the African Union Commission. Closing up from Kenya, the Kenyatta family has held a memorial service commemorating the 41st anniversary of the passing of the family patriarch Jomo Kenyatta at the Holy Family Basilica in Nairobi. The nation's founding father died in 1978 while sleeping in Mombasa. His son, President Uhuru Kenyatta, led family members in laying a wreath at Jomo Kenyatta Mausoleum located next to Parliament Building in Nairobi. Let's move on to news around the world. From Nigeria, 17 people were killed when a passenger bus collided with an oncoming truck in central Nigeria. Udeme Chetty of the Federal Road Safety Corps say the accident involving an 18-passenger Toyota bus and a truck transporting a container happened in Kwara State on Thursday. 17 people on the bus died while the 2 occupants of the truck sustained serious injuries. In the Gambia, President Adama Barrow Thursday reshuffled his government controversial appointing as Interior Minister. A former police chief was in post when a political activist was murdered. Solo Sandenge's death in custody in April 2016 sparked a political movement that eventually ousted former leader Yahya Jammeh, who ruled Gambia with an iron fist for 22 years. Sandenge's killing encouraged a weak and split opposition to unite behind Barrow, who went on to beat Jammeh in December 2016 election. Away from the continent, news from Sri Lanka. The central bank cut its main lending rate Friday for the second time in 3 months, hoping to lift the economy as it struggles in the wake of the devastating Easter attacks that hit the key tourism sector. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka said the rate at which it lent the commercial banks was reduced by 50 basis points to 8.0%. It added that the 50 basis point cut in May had not translated into cheaper credit for consumers and expected the latest move to reflect in the market lending rates. Let's close off the news around the world from China. Now, the country could be able to field a national team made up of almost entirely of players born elsewhere after authorities said 9 foreign footballers were switching allegiance. On Wednesday, Brazil-born striker Elkson became the first player without Chinese heritage to be named in the national squad as China attempts to reach the World Cup for the second time. The 30-year-old is poised to make his debut next month in the 2022 World Cup qualifier in the Maldives, where London-born Nico Yenaris, who is half Chinese, will likely win a 3rd cup. That is it for the news around the world. We now take a short break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at what's making news in business.